Hey there, Brett Blair with Best Life Global. You know, I run into people all the time that ask me, how do they stay balanced? Like, how do they get their lives back into some sort of equilibrium or balance? Because they all tend to get knocked off. Either they're overworking or they're not working enough or something's wrong in their life. And I've got bad news for you. There is no such thing as work-life balance. Balance is really not the key. But I have good news for you. There is something called appropriate prioritization of all areas of your life. And I really work on this in my own life and with the people that I coach to get people more aware and more on purpose with intention, living their lives, putting energy into those areas that they've declared are most important. So how do you do this? Well, first of all, you just decide in your own privacy what areas of your life are most important. And if you can, put them in priority order. So for example, for me, I'm a Christian, and my relationship with God and my faith and my spirituality, that's all my highest priority. Number 2 for me is my physical health. And I get criticized for this. People think that's selfish, but I think that if I'm not physically healthy, I become a burden to my wife, a burden to society in general. So I put my physical health way up there. Number 3 for me is my wife and my children and my parents, my friends, my colleagues, that whole thing called relationships. Relationships are my number 3 priority in my life. Number 4 is my emotional health, my ability to be present and to be focused and to not be burdened about the past or worried about the future, but being here now with you is important to me, and that's why it's my 4th priority. Number 5 for me is a combination of my work and continuing to learn. And then last for me of the top 6 priorities is financial, is money. And I believe and I've found that if I'm really doing well in the other areas in my life, that the money will somehow just be there because you're so good at everything else, you're valuable in the marketplace. But again, it's not balance. I spend most of my time working. So it's not balance, but it's putting appropriate amount of focus and energy and intention in each of those areas in my life continually over time creates a total life that's far better than one that's overworked in one area and neglected, under focused on in another area. So I recommend to you, first of all, get honest about what areas of your life are important and write those down. And then at least once a month, sit down by yourself and ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing in each of those areas? And I like to then plot that in a circle with like a wheel with spokes, and each spoke represents a different area in my life. And then put a dot on a 0 to 10 scale, put a dot on where your ranking shows up on each of those spokes, and then connect the dots. And then you'll see if you have a flat tire in your diagram. And a life that's relatively balanced, to use that word, where prioritizations are relatively appropriate, is like a tire fully inflated that rolls down the road. But if you have a flat spot on that tire, you have a flat tire, it thuds down the road. You want a life where you're putting appropriate energy and appropriate focus, appropriate attention into each of the areas of your life such that you'll live your life better in the long run, happier, healthier, more successful, and live your best life. I hope that helps.